Hi everyone, and welcome to this talk dedicated to how to run a food factory with Odoo. I'm Fred and I'm project manager at LogicaSoft. Some words about us. At LogicaSoft, we are Odoo Gold Partner and we love implementing Odoo in food industry. We have implemented it in many companies such as these ones. And the last big project was actually in a snack factory. So I decided to use this use case to show how to manage the operations in a food factory. During this demonstration, I will focus on inventory and manufacturing aspects. So here is the use case. So we'll have some potatoes, the raw materials, used to produce two finished products, the sour cream, onion, and the barbecue chips. I hope you are not too much hungry. And here is the agenda. The process is actually split up in 5 steps. We'll start with the forecast, then we'll turn to the replenishment of raw materials, then the planning of production, then the operations of production, and then we deliver to the client. Let's start with the forecast. To manage the sales forecast, we use the master production schedule. Over there, we see all the finished and semi-finished products. The first 2 lines here are the finished products, and the last one is the semi-finished, the potatoes used for both productions. So I enter all my sales forecast. It's already done for the barbecue. I'm gonna do it for the sour cream, and so here we speak in terms of boxes. This is the main unit of measure, 1000 and 2000. And then once this is done, I now turn to the production manager who comes here and launch the replenishment. So the creation of the manufacturing orders. This is done a couple of months ahead in order to have enough time for the replenishment of raw materials. The screen is really convenient because I can do it in 1 click. So once this is done, I've got all my manufacturing orders generated for both my finished and my semi-finished products. Looking at my semi-finished product, I see that my potatoes are not yet available. I do see it thanks to the forecast widget. If I now look at the finished goods, most of the items are available except the semi-finished that are still waiting, of course. So then I turn to the replenishment. I will be now the purchase manager and I will handle the orders to my vendors. To do so, I go to the inventory application and use the replenishment screen. It's a brand new feature of Odoo version 14 and very handy. Here I see all my forecast with the details in terms of lead time. So I see all the products needed within the vendor lead time, which is here 90 days, and the order, the quantity to order. Of course, based on forecast and all the manufacturing orders already scheduled for the coming months, I can change those quantities and adjust a little bit in order to better fit the pricing agreements with my vendors, etc. For instance, here, increase the quantity a little bit. Okay, and then I can launch the replenishment. Just clicking 1 button and I've got the purchase orders automatically generated. Here I will confirm the purchase order and I will send the request to my vendor. Then the truck comes in and we can receive the products. Let's go to the inventory app. and put all the incoming lots and expiration dates we see on each pallet. I've got a specific field dedicated to expiration date. So this one is in January 2023. I quickly insert the incoming quantities. I can have several incoming lots, and I confirm. Actually, once this is done, I can automatically print a label for the pallet. So for each incoming pallet, I can print such a report that I can stick on each content. I now do it for the second item. Once this is done, I can proceed with the quality checks and make sure the incoming products are satisfying all the requirements. I click the quality check button, I see all the instruction, and I can either pass or fail the test. In case of failure, I can trigger a quality alert and proceed with specific instructions. So once this is done, I can validate the receipt and move all those pallets into my stock. When the replenishment is complete, we can start the planning of production. Here are the production steps. At first, we start with the mixing to make the semi-finished product. And then this item is used on all the cooking lines, for each line being used for one finished product. And then we've got the packaging. The complex thing is that all those operations start pretty much at the same time, and the packaged items must be recorded in the system in real time in order to be available for the deliveries that are sometimes starting even before the production is finished. So to do so, the mixing and the cooking lines will be managed with work orders for operators, and all the manufacturing orders will be recorded and validated at the end of each shift closing. And then we've got the packaging that is managed separately through specific stock moves in the inventory application. So to make the planning of each line, we open up all the manufacturing orders that are not yet planned. So we'll select them and hit the plan button. Once this is done, I can open up the planning and check it by work center. My work centers being all my lines. The default view is monthly. I can move to a weekly view and see all the manufacturing orders scheduled. From here, I can adjust the agenda and, for instance, change from one line to the other, delay a little bit in case of maintenance on the production, for instance, etc. Okay, so there are many views allowing this, the Gantt view or the calendar view. Here it is, that I can display on a monthly view to have to better see at a glance what's in stake. And of course, using one view or the other depends on the timing and the duration of your production. For longer productions, it's where it's more convenient to use the calendar. I've got my planning. Now I can start the operations with the operators. In the manufacturing app, the operators have a dedicated view to start working. It's divided into each work center. I will first start with the mixing. At the screen, the operator sees all the instructions and can directly encode what is put into the machine. Now I've got the first product to put in, the russet potato. The system gives me the lot I need to use and the quantity. I can validate. Oh, here, very convenient. I got a warning if a lot is actually expired. Here I need to take some measure, here the amidon for instance, put the value. It's a quality check. In case of failure, I will get some instructions to manage it. Then I follow the next instructions. We mix again for 5 minutes and we're done. I'm done with the mixing. I can now start the finished products. We will produce the sour cream onion. Before producing, there is actually one inventory step in order to pick up all the raw materials and make them available on the production floor. And this is made possible with the multi-steps transfers of Odoo. Here is the transfer for this manufacturing order. I see here, I can check the availability of all the products. And the system gives me all the lots and quantities I need to pick up in each location of my warehouse. Once the pickup is done, I can validate. This step is actually managed easily from the barcode application. We'll go through it for the next operation, for a little demonstration. All my products are available for the production. I can actually launch it. Going back to the dashboard, I launch the operator screen again, and I insert all the quantities. And here I can do the closing of each shift and putting, for instance, the quantities that are done so far. Let's say 100 boxes. I'll put a lot. Here it is. And then I follow the instructions. So all the quantities that show up here are computed based on the finished quantity. So I validate all my raw materials. In case of rework, for instance, when I reuse some raw materials from previous production, I can here put a lot number and the quantity for perfect traceability. Here I will not use any rework, and I validate. Here is the summary of my production. In case everything goes well, everything shows up in green. In case of error or failure in a quality check, I've got a red highlight. So that was a first batch of my production. The production is goes on with the remaining quantities. Now we can manage the packaging. To do so, I go to the barcode app and I use my gun. So forget the keyboard and the mouse. I scan the operation type to open up the encoding screen. And then I take the product label I got from the production floor, scan the product reference, here it is, and the lot number, I set the quantities, the number of boxes I'll have on my pallet, will have 10 boxes, and then I can put in pack. So there is a barcode for that, or a button, you see here. You scan or press it, and there is a pack number, a pallet number given to the stock move line. Then I validate. Okay, I'll press the button. All right. So we good to go. We managed the production. We've got the pallets in stock. If we take a look at the products, the sour cream onion is available, so I see all the quantities available in my stock with the pack numbers and the lot numbers. So we're fine. Last step is the delivery. To do so, I go to the barcode app and open up the delivery orders. Here is the one for customer Food Mart. I click it. I see all the products I need to take in my warehouse, the reference, the number of boxes, plus the pallet references. So it's very easy. I look at the right pallet and I scan it. So here is my pallet label that I print from Odoo. I scan the pallet number, and here it is. The line is automatically selected and I can proceed. I'm actually delivering less than expected by the client. It was a bigger order, so I can create a back order to make it later. And that's it. We've managed the full flow from replenishment to delivery. So what do you think? Is it not simple? So what is specific and not standard in this workflow? At first, the expiration dates. So they are made mandatory in any move or inventory update. And we do see here the values set up on the lots. They are also mandatory in manufacturing orders. So you cannot validate a manufacturing order without expiration date. This date is key because it is used by the FIFO mechanism to assign the incoming quantities to stock move and make sure that the first expiring lots are consumed or shipped the first. So we've got the traceability alerts that are made possible with alert date being automatically computed from expiration date, and this is something we made possible with an easy setting on the product form. And then we've got the labels for incoming products, such as these, and those are a bit more accurate than the standard ones given in Odoo. We see the allergens, we've got the references of the lots, expiration dates, so everything is displayed there, and you can actually print this in one click with a Zebra printer and stick it to the pallet using this new button that we added to the interface. Then we've got the same for outgoing products. This is exactly the same report, including a pallet reference that is used for an easy shipping. So what else for food industry? So at LogicaSoft, we developed Odoo limbs that can be used here for extending quality checks and quality alerts with deeper analysis reports. This is one of our core competencies. We also develop an employee portal, enabling each employee to download the payslip, encode the time off, etc., without having internal user access. We also have a system reconciling shift and attendances in order to generate the payslip. You're interested into it? Here are contact details to reach out with us. We'll be very happy to answer. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, thank you for having watched this great demo. I would like to invite Frédéric to join us. Fred, I don't know where you are exactly.
Sorry, Florida. Sorry. I
Hello
was just
Fred.
running. I'm coming from production. I ran straight from production. I had a hard session with the warehouse manager.
Okay, but it's okay because
But I'm there.
Right, exactly. You're just on time for the Q&A session. So, Frédéric, there are many auditors here that would like to ask you many questions about the demo we've just had.
Hi, everyone.
So first of all, if you are watching this video, please type down all your questions because Frédéric has been implementing Odoo for 10 years already, and I'm sure he had already all kinds of questions, so don't be shy to ask yours. Frédéric, so if you're ready, there is already one question I would like to quote. It comes from Moralex, and this person is asking, who would you suggest to be the Odoo user at the factory? He's currently working on a new implementation at a cookie factory, but this person is not sure whether the user should be on site or not. How can you help this person?
So at first, it should start with the shift or the line leaders. So, you know, in the floor, you've got some responsible for the operations, and I would start encoding all the operations with those people, the responsible. Don't start with the operators, because even if they manage the first click, they can screw up at some point when they're alone with the system. So at first, you should train the shift and the line leaders. And after a couple of weeks or months, once they feel comfortable enough, they can pass on the knowledge to the other employees. But don't start with too many operators at the first time, otherwise it's going to be messy.
Okay, so I hope this answers your question. There is another question coming from Francisco de la Serna. Francisco is asking whether there is a product that can be made either with raw material 1 or raw material 2. In the case of there are 2 different recipes. Can it be modeled in Odoo?
But it has to be modeled with different products, because the products is actually what you manage in the master production schedule, and from there you can trigger one on another recipe, but this is through products. So you should have different products to manage that. Of course, there are some combinations possible depending on the customer case, and to do so, you can also play with the variants of Odoo to decrease the number of master data. So yeah, it depends on the implementation, but I would say to start first with specific products.
Okay, great. So I hope, Francisco, this asks your question too. In the meantime, if someone has any other question, please do type them in the chat next to this video. We will receive it live. Frédéric, while we are waiting for other new questions to come, I would like to ask you whether you could share with us the main challenges you faced as an integrator while implementing manufacturing apps for companies in the food sector.
So the main challenge we're facing in that kind of a project was actually convincing people that going to Odoo was actually for the good, and you actually have to do it with very different skills, very different jobs in the company. You've got the purchase manager, the planning manager, people on the ground, so the warehouse manager, etc. So those people have different needs. They have different feelings about it, and actually you have to be convincing for all those jobs. And sometimes when you've got everybody in the same room, it's challenging.
I can guess so. Thank you for sharing that. Maybe the last question for the 2 minutes we have left. It is coming from Marco Haponen. He's asking, hi Frederic, have you made a solution that would link Odoo shift planning to the manufacturing work center planning, meaning that you could link personal availability and Odoo work center? You have 1 minute to answer that.
So actually, that's our plan for the future. So far, we are managing the HR in on one hand and the manufacturing on another hand. But the plan for the future is to combine both of them using the planning and the resources. Yes, okay. Indeed, that's what we would like to do with those customers.
Okay, great. So I see there are other questions in the chat. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. How can the auditors contact you? An email address, maybe?
Yes, my email address, fgi@logicasoft.eu. First thing. Otherwise, okay, we move to the other room for extra questions if needed.
Okay, thank you, Frédéric.
I will be very glad to answer all of them.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.